All right, welcome back to the Will Reads Does Some Route Planning. So, last time we left you in nice sunny Florida. We're still in the United States. Since I'm a U.S. citizen, we don't require any passports at this point, but we're leaving the U.S. Wanted to get out of here. So, give you two options. Either go down to Key West, down to Cuba, Havana. You can see it right there in the middle. Or head on over to the Bahamas. You guys chose to go to the Bahamas, so let's go to the Bahamas. I did a poll on our Discord, so go check out there. I'll put a link in the description of this video so you can join our Discord. I'll put up polls to decide where to go to next. I'll enlarge this map here for you guys. For this now, and we're going to go to our first little port. It's only 50 nautical miles away, so it's pretty close. It's where most boats head out from Florida, heading towards the Bahamas. It's a little island called Bimini. So you've ever heard of a Bimini top on your motorboat? That little canvas, it actually comes from this island. That's where it gets its name. Keeps the shade going. A nice little quaint island. It's Caribbean. It's nice. Like I said, it's really close to Florida, though. It's less than a day sail away. In fact, they always say you can look out on the water. If you see what looks like little hills on the horizon, that means the waves are pretty bad. You should wait a day because it's only a day sail till it's nice and calm and you have a good breeze going to head over towards there. So like I said, it's only 55 nautical miles, so it's a quick hot jump, about 6-hour cruise. Maybe even less depending on the winds and the angle. You are going to be probably going against the wind a little bit, so it might take a little bit longer, but yeah, as a general rule, that's where we are. So let me zoom in here for you for a little bit. Bimini is actually two different islands. It's the North Bimini, which is the main island, and then South Bimini. Most people go on the North Bimini. A few things you have to know about traveling when you go overseas. So whenever you're going to go into a new country, proper protocols, you have to check in with customs. Just like if you fly in the airport, proper protocol is to check in with customs. If you get caught in a country without checking with customs, you can get a lot of trouble. So what you'll do is you'll go right in a port here. You will, there's a nice little picture of Bimini with the port there. So you can see how pretty it is with the reefs and everything like that. So you can go right into port, anchor your boat off. Do not leave your boat. That is important. You fly what's called the Q flag or the quarantine flag. It's a solid yellow flag. It lets the port officials know that you're a new boat coming into harbor that wants customs to board their boat. They will then send out usually a dinghy. Some of the more third world countries will send a rowboat out, but they'll send a skiff out to greet you. And check you in. Once they clear you to enter the port, you'll go to the marina that they tell you, or that you told them that you're going to, if you already have reservations, and you'll pull right in there. Right here I'm plotting my already leaving Bimini and heading on over. But one thing that I will say about Bahamas is you do also need a cruising permit. Not all countries require this. Bahamas do. So they have to issue a cruising permit. It gives you the right to sail within their waters and also to fish. So pretty cool. So we're heading over to Nassau now. It's the capital of the Bahamas. Famous mostly for its cruise ship terminals. You can see there's big docks there, just to the north there. That island to the north that I'm kind of plotting in between is Paradise Island. That's where the Hotel Atlantis is. A lot of people go there because it's a big tourist destination. There's cool aquarium there. It's kind of just a really, really fun place. I'll actually show you a picture here in a couple seconds of Atlantis. A big tourist trap and destination. But of course, if you're going to Bahamas, you got to go to Atlantis. There it is. Big hotel, lots and lots of stuff to do. Like it's aquarium, pools, all sorts of fun stuff. It's pretty. So that's that island right there to the north. Right now I'm marking, I figured out that actually I went further than I was supposed to, so I'm changing my course up a little bit, but going to go ahead and head on into Nassau. Probably would do provisioning here. It's one of the larger ports, so you'll have a lot of good amenities for stocking up on any food. You should have did that in Florida before you left, but you might be able to get some cheaper deals in the Bahamas. You always run into this problem whenever you're going to other countries. The larger ports, of course, are more expensive, but they have higher prices. Large ports have higher prices, but the smaller ports might not have as much resources. It's much harder sometimes to find things like canned goods and supplies, but if you can get it for cheap. So we always check whenever we get to ports, whether big or small. If there's something in particular we're looking for, we'll look in the big ports. If it's things like essentials like gas, or things that you can find almost anywhere in the world, even water sometimes you can find in smaller islands, centers that fill up fresh water, bottled water. Doing the smaller islands a little cheaper. Recommend against using a lot of tap waters in a lot of third world countries or a lot of other countries. You check that beforehand. A great resource for that is Noonsite. That's NOONSITE.com. You can search any country pretty much in the world that's on an ocean. It'll give you all the different details as far as what you can get at different places. From here, I'm looking at the next group of islands. Of course, when you go to the Bahamas, you'll find pigs everywhere. Yeah, there's pigs on every island, pigs and roosters and chickens. The reason being is because back in the old pirate days, in the Spanish colonization days, they used to put the pigs and the roosters in barrels because they can't swim, or at least not well. You see that pig there, he's standing on the water, he's not really swimming that well. So they put him in barrels, but then when the ships would wreck, the barrels would float to shore, crack open, and then you got feral pig populations and feral chicken populations. So a lot of the islands are full of pigs. You'll see them in all the islands, but also a lot of good, you can catch one, I guess you can eat one. Probably just buy the meat from the store than trying to go butcher my own pig. We'll actually advise not to kill the wildlife for the most part, unless you're absolutely certain. I have a friend that was sailing the Bahamas, and he got to the island, decided to eat a lizard. I know, it's weird. The lizard was an endangered species that only exists on that island. He then had to pay a gigantic fine and go to court back at the Bahamas. Don't do that. So don't eat the wildlife. Fish, yeah, you can eat the fish. Fishing's pretty much fair game. As far as cruising through the Bahamas, most of the charts, at least around the main areas, are pretty good. But once you get outside the main areas, the charts aren't really that great. And the coral reefs are always growing and shifting, so a lot of the navigation's done by eyesight. You can see where the reefs are, actually from a very far out zoom on the satellite. And when you're actually sailing along, it's really obvious to see where the reefs are and avoid the coral heads and weave in and out of the reefs. Usually you want to have a guy on the front of the boat, the bow, spotting out to look for reefs and make sure that you're navigating through them. It never hurts to stop, put the sails down, and actually dive down to see actually your depth perception's on or off. We do that from time to time. We'll dive in any port, especially if we're mooring, which that's a technical term. If you moor, that means you're just anchoring off versus going to actually have boat slip. When we get to a port like this, a lot of times these locals will set up moorings to make money, but they won't actually anchor their mooring ball or their rope down to the seafloor. They'll just throw weight down there, which means you'll go ahead and tie up. Next thing you know, you slip and you're aground the next day because you went to sleep and you weren't actually to the ground. So we always dive down on our mooring lines, make sure they actually are secured to the ocean floor and not just something with like a tin can or soda can down there at the bottom with some lead in it or something like that that's not even holding your boat and they're just trying to make a quick buck. That does happen, so always good. So lots of good diving. I didn't show all the different islands we'd probably stop at along the way with this route. We'd probably stop at a lot of these islands just during the day. I'm still keeping to kind of a timeline because when you're going this route, you guys chose the long way around. We do have to make good time because when we get to the end of the video, I'll explain that. But we'd have to go a little bit at a faster pace than I would normally going this way. If we decide to go to Dominican Republic and not to the Lesser Antilles, to the Windward Islands, then we probably would have could spend more time in ports. But right now we're going to beautiful Turks and Caicos, another populous tourist destination. Very, very pretty there as well. Like I said, when you go to the Caribbean, everything's just really, really pretty looking. Going through there, of course, you'll have to also pay a departure fee from the Bahamas to leave there. You pay it up front, and if you get caught, or if you don't pay it, then when you come back, you get in a lot of trouble. Customs going into, right there, we're going to Cockburn Town. But the customs are going into, and there's a picture of Cockburn Town. So customs are going into there, same thing. You fly the Q flag. Most of the time you have to go to the South Dock there. That's the official government wharf. You also have a cruising permit as well for the Turks and Caicos. They'll come out by dinghy. It's a relatively safe place. The boat that you boarded will be marked police. Sometimes people come out and act like they are the customs officials and try to charge you fees. Make sure that you read beforehand about everything and make sure you're not being scammed. This happens all over the world. You kind of learn these things as you sail around the world, that you can be taken for a ride very easily. It happened to us in Indonesia. We had, I think, 3 or 4 different customs officials come out to our boat before I realized that we were being scammed, and people, I think, were just trading the uniform out amongst the villagers and kept them coming out asking for more money. Eventually we stopped and said, no, we're going to go ashore and actually go to official office before we pay anything else. I think we only paid 2 people, but we had multiple people keep trying all day long. But we eventually got stamped in. In most of these countries, if you're from the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, or I think most of the EU, you do not require a visa in these countries. If you're from other countries, you might require a visa as long as you stay for less than 8 months. Because we were trying to sail around the world on this route, we don't plan on being there that long at all. So, no visas required. Don't have to pay those visa fees. So now we're done with the Turks and Caicos. We're going to pass the Dominican Republic because it's not safe this time. Recently in this year, there's been lots of people missing there. There are some safe ports there. I don't give DR too bad of credit. The DR is a great place. Just has had a little bit of troubles in the last few years. We're going to go straight to another U.S. territory, which also can be dangerous from time to time, but everybody's heard of it. It's Puerto Rico. Yeah. So we're going to make our way past these, you see these flat areas? Those are actually, they're not land. It's actually just a very shallow area. So we go just north of those, avoid them altogether. We could sneak into those and maybe find some good diving spots. If we brought a diving scuba gear with us, or even snorkel, find some good places to dive. Gonna go over a trench here, good fishing. Whenever we're sailing, at least offshore like this, I always like to fish. I will usually do hand lines. So rather than do rod and reel on a boat, which you have poles sticking up and your boom, which is the thing that moves the sail back, or the pole that comes off the mast, goes back and forth, you hit the poles and can get in the way. A hand line doesn't get in the way at all because all it is a rope going off the back of the boat. Get a spoon there that spins and flashes lights and makes a fish, a bigger fish think it's a smaller fish in distress, and they go up and try to bite it. You don't even need bait. Just spins there and catches all the fish. So here we are sailing into San Juan, Puerto Rico. Of course, here we can use U.S. currency again. The local language is Spanish, but they use the U.S. dollar, so we don't have to do any currency exchanges. It's a very, very colorful place. I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of San Juan, but all the different buildings are painted different colors. It's really pretty. We'll go right here into the main port of San Juan. Of course, there's a lot of cargo ships, commercial ships. We're just going to go to this little dock here. Not sure if that's the dock we'd actually go to. I did more research. There's a picture of all the colorful buildings down in San Juan. So yeah. We'll probably stay here for a few days as well. Can probably get almost all the U.S. goods we want in Puerto Rico before shipping out to another day sail. Those sails are going to take just respectively to get to, like they said, the Bahamas takes about 1 day. To get to Nassau from Bahamas 2 days, then to get from Bahamas to Turks about 5 days, and then from the Turks and Caicos to Puerto Rico it is actually only 3 days. So right now just little hops. That's if we don't stop in these little islands in between. This is what we call island hopping. A lot of people do this in the Caribbean. They just hop from island to island, nothing more than a day sail. If a bad storm comes through, you can just stay put for a day and wait. We're not doing long crossings yet. That's a great thing about the Caribbean is you can actually just kind of hop around, don't have to worry about storms too much because you can just wait. Stay in the harbors, stay safe, and ride out these storms. The next day hop we're going to do from Puerto Rico is going to be over to the Virgin Islands. So right here, I'm going to zoom out in a second. There we go, and start moving over towards the Virgin Islands. The Virgin Islands are the 3 islands that belong to the United States. The rest belong to the British. So you have the U.S. Virgin Islands and the British Virgin Islands. Of course, I prefer the BVI, the British, better, but we're going to go ahead and check in with the U.S. first and probably just hop over and do a couple of day hops if we went there to BVI and back and forth. Of course, when going into these U.S. territories, you don't require, if you're a U.S. citizen, don't require any customs. Or actually, you still have to check in. Sorry. You just don't require any visas or cruising permits because you are a citizen. So it makes it pretty easy. So I just plot the course over. Like I said, it's a day trip. It's really close. St. John's is St. John's is the island. Charlotte, Amelia is the name of the capital city. The big island, St. John's. We also have St. Croix and St. Thomas. So yeah, when you get to British Virgin Islands, you have to go to Willie T's. So here's a quick video all about Willie T's. It is a fabulous place to hang out. I recommend it completely. Yeah, lots and lots of rum. Painkillers are the big drink there. That's what a lot of people like to drink. Also, they have drink specials every day. Yay, drink specials. And the coolest thing about it is after you take your shots, it has a big platform in the back. It's a big floating bar, and you get to then jump off. So yeah, do some diving, jumping into the nice crystal clear water of the Bahamas. Or not the Bahamas, the BVI. So yeah, Willie T's. Definitely a must if you ever head down to the Virgin Islands. Some place to hang out and drink a lot and go swimming. Do a little dancing, have a party. It's always a party there. They used to do ski shots there. I'm not sure they still do, where they had a big board and everybody takes a shot at the same time. A lot of fun. But anyway, so enough partying. Move on to our next island. Of course, we're in the Caribbean. We're just partying the entire time. I mean, let's be honest, it's the Caribbean. So we're going to head over to the next island, which is going to be St. Martin or St. Martin. It is a Dutch colony. It is known for its beautiful beaches as well. Big tourist spot. Of course, they speak Dutch there. Netherlands owns it. And we'll do a plotting over to that. One thing that's really, really cool about St. Martin is they have the coolest airport, I think, in the entire world. You might have seen videos of their airport. So their airport is right there on the beach, and the boat, like, they have, 747s, the big Boeing jets land at this airport, and they have to actually come so close down because it's a short runway to the end of the runway that you can actually stay on the beach right at the end of the runway and have like these planes just go right over your head and get the jet wash and all sorts of. It's a big tourist thing to do. So of course, if we go down to St. Martin, we would have to go have a plane lane over us because, it's kind of a staple thing you have to do when you're there. I'm adjusting the route again, went a little too far. As I said in previous videos, I'm doing about 100 nautical miles a day. That's a really slow pace. And the reason why I do this is also to allow us to stop at islands because we're probably moving faster than this. So we can do little stops in between or stay longer in ports if we need to. So I have short times in ports, but long crossings. And like I said, the reason for that is to just be able to adjust better for the trip. So next thing I'm going to do, I am going to zoom in now for you guys. I'm still plotting this course out, but I'm going to zoom in actually to the airport, and I'll show you a quick video of those planes landing to give you an idea of how crazy those things are. Once again, reefs everywhere, fun place to hang out, fun place to drink. That's what most of the Caribbean is. It's a really fun way to start sailing around the world. Do Caribbean first. We talked about this in the very, very beginning for out planning. 2 ways of going is either going north and crossing the North Atlantic. A lot colder, not as many bars, not as many swimming locations. See a cool little, beaches there that are designed. And here, I'll zoom in again, but I'll zoom in at the airport. It's right down the south part. You see that little bag? Yep, there it is. See the airport strip right there in the middle screen? And this is what it looks like from the beach point of view. This is off to the side, but I couldn't find a good video of the plane actually going overhead. But you can stand right in the plane. It can fly right over you. Apparently, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, so we'll hang out in St. Martin for a little bit, then head over to our next stop, which is Antigua. Which was destroyed by a hurricane. I think it was last year or 2 years ago. I can't remember. They all run together with COVID. What year things happened? But there's a big hurricane that flattened the island. But they rebuilt, and it's now safe to travel to again. Beautiful Caribbean spot. I'm going to keep on saying that every island I go to. Beautiful Caribbean spot. They're all beautiful. They all have their own charms in their own ways. We could go down to St. Kitts as well, which is right there. That's what I'm hovering over right there. That's an option. I just randomly picked islands to go to, so we could always stop there if we wanted to. Plenty of ports, but decided to head over to Antigua. Which is the next island over. All these are day sails. It takes 1 day to get from BVI to here, maybe 2 days at max if you're just getting no wind at all. But these are in the trades. So when I say that, in parts of the world, the wind blows all the time. This is one of those parts of the world, and they're between different latitudes. So once you get really south of Florida here, before you get down to the equator, you're in the trade wind latitudes. The wind's always blowing the same direction pretty much, which is from the east to the west, which means if we're going this way, we're actually going against the wind, which makes it a little tough to go this way. Normally, like I said, when we're applying these courses, the easy route is to go to the Dominican Republic and straight down Jamaica rather than doing this route. But once we're here, this is the kind of the furthest upwind, and there's Antigua. It's pretty. Like I said, they're all pretty. They have these beautiful picturesque cays and little bays you can go into. And that's that bay right there that I'm zoomed in on. Show you a picture of it. But yeah, so you have to go against the wind. It's going to take a little bit more time to get there. When you're going with the wind or perpendicular to the wind, called beam reach. It's a lot faster point of sail. Actually, a lot, not necessarily safer, it's a lot easier on the boat. Not as much banging where the bow's hitting waves and doing chomp. And if you hit some rough seas, it's not fun to go against the wind, but you can, and we will. Luckily, these are, like I said, they're day sails, so we can kind of play around and pick days and really make a nice one. So now you can hit any one of these wonderful islands along the way. We probably would stop at a few of them, but I would just go to St. Lucia. Another famous, probably heard of the island at least. All these are famous, or I say famous, they're all tourist destinations. Anyway, the Caribbean pretty much is. You have St. Vincent, the Grenadines, Barbados, Grenada, and we're actually going to end this video all the way down to Grenada, but just kind of showing you the Lesser Antilles over there. Just kind of where we're hanging out, and then get to the next point where we have to make a decision. But yeah, so from here, go to St. Lucia. St. Lucia is has really cool, like pyramid looking, like islands, like little small islands off of it. It's really pretty. Like I said, I'm gonna keep on saying that over and over again. Everything's pretty in the Caribbean. It's really pretty. There's lots of parts of the world that are really pretty. Anytime we're in these tropical areas, you just get this picturesque, crystal clear water. Usually some really cool architecture. But like I said, I'm plodding along these islands. I'm on the inside of the island. Like I said, right now we're heading down south, so you wouldn't be against the wind nearly as much anymore. This would be a lot more pleasant to sail. You can go on either side of these. I would side on the Caribbean Sea side, which is the west side, just because if you need to stay behind one of these islands, what we call the leeward side, the storms would come from the east. So staying on the western side, you can use the islands as blockers for smaller waves. You can duck into one of these harbors when you're cutting in between these islands. And there's St. Lucia. I'm going to go ahead and show you a picture of St. Lucia as well, just kind of, once again, picturesque. beautiful beaches, beautiful topography, I guess you could say. And here's this picture here. Like I say, this like pyramid-like mountains. So pretty cool. Yeah. So St. Lucia. Like I said, we wouldn't necessarily have to go here. We could go to any one of those islands. If we are coming on this far, the next island would be a must, just because I am a sailor and my favorite rum comes from there. So after I plot this, we're going to zoom back out, get right out of St. Lucia and start heading to his next island, and that would be Barbados. Yeah, home of Rihanna, the singer, I believe. Yeah, she's from Barbados. And also where they make Mount Gay rum. Yeah, it actually is a staple in any sailing community. They sponsor a lot of sailing races, so you kind of, if you're in the sailing community, you drink a lot of it. And it's good rum. It's like I said, my favorite rum. So, I'd have to go there to go do a tour of the distillery. It's a little bit out of the way, but hey, if you're down there, I'm gonna stop. Gonna have to go there. It is an English-speaking colony as well. So some of these are English-speaking, some are French, some are Spanish, some are Dutch. They were kind of the big colonizers back then. They all speak a kind of like a Creole. Have a most people would stereotypical call it Jamaican accent, but it's a Caribbean accent. There's a picture of Mount Gay. Go check it out at your local liquor store. It's good stuff. This video is not sponsored by them, although it should be. If you guys happen to watch this, sponsor me. I will always promote the rum. So we would stay in Barbados, do a little tour there. Now, language barriers aren't usually that big of a deal. I went to places that didn't speak any English at all, and usually it's either one, find a translator, or two, you learn really fast how to communicate with hand signals and just learning the language. It's amazing how fast when you're immersed and you have no choice to speak a language, how fast you can actually learn simple bits of language. A lot of people travel to these places and they go to tourist destinations, and of course everybody at tourist destinations speaks mostly English anywhere in the world in a tourist area. But when you're sailing, you can get off the beaten path and really go to some places where you're forced to learn languages. And yeah, so here we are going to the final one, which is Grenada. Here's a nice little picture of Grenada for you guys, so you can see also how pretty it is. So yeah, you're going to have all these coral reefs everywhere, all around the islands. Always good diving, good snorkeling. We could have gone to Grenada, we could have gone to Trinidad. There's lots of different options down here, but just, why not? We'll stop in Grenada and we will stock up there. This would be kind of a long stopover because this is where we have to make our next decision. So from here we have two choices. Now here it is, we started sailing in, we left Florida. That would have been at the end of November. At this point, this would be around the beginning of February 5th is when we would leave Grenada. So a few months at sea. We left in November, now it's February. We celebrated Christmas in Puerto Rico, but we have two options now. We can either go east to the Panama Canal, zoom out a little bit and zoom in. You would probably still island hop here. You can go hop into these islands or go to the ABC Islands, which includes Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. Those are ABC, ABC. Aruba's a nice place to stop over. I've been there. It's Dutch. Wonderful little island. And then you go to Panama Canal, and from there we go to Galapagos, and then from Galapagos Islands go sail across the Pacific Ocean. So that's one way. The other way we can go is we can go east. Once again, going against the wind, it'll take longer and be harder. We have to swing out far because we can't get too close to the Amazon River. There's lots of pirates at the mouth there. Yes, there are pirates. And it's known to be quite dangerous with the people that live there. So it's gotten better over the years, but you'd still probably want to swing out and not do a lot of stopping. So it would be a long sail. But the payoff is you'd go to Rio de Janeiro down there, and then we could sail across the Atlantic in the southern part to Cape Town, South Africa. So we would leave Rio de Janeiro and sail across the Atlantic in the south there, South Atlantic, towards Cape Town or towards South Africa. So if we wanted to go that route, that's another way to get to that part of the world. Or if we want to head over to the Pacific, that's what my recommendation would be. But I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. You guys are planning this route. You guys can tell me whichever way you guys want to go. I'll plan either way. I'll say both those places, you wanted to either be in the Pacific by March at the latest, or you want to be in Rio leaving to go across the Atlantic at March at the latest. The reason being is because you're going to start right into Southern Hemisphere hurricane season pretty quickly after that. In April, especially by May, you are. They call them cyclones or typhoons down there. You do not want to be there for that part. So we would be racing, be the beginning of February, being a short month. Either way, it'd be faster to go the other way. A lot easier would be to stop more, do longer. We'd have to skip a lot going towards Brazil because we just have to race. But if you guys want to go to Africa at this point, we can also do it later if we go the other way. So I'll leave it to you guys. Go ahead and like, subscribe, leave comments down below. Let me know where you want to go next. Hit me up if you do some sailing. If you've ever been to one of these islands and you want to leave a comment or leave some pictures, feel free to join our Discord and do that. But until next time, peace.